All right, listen up, guys, because we have a problem. Now, I'm absolutely terrified to play this outdoors in the South Florida humidity, and I do travel for work quite frequently, where I have to bring my cello with me, and I'm absolutely terrified of bringing this cello under the plane. I do spend a lot of money annually getting this cello worked on by my luthier, and I feel like every time I play outdoors, I'm just undoing all the work he did on my cello. As you can see, there's a problem. I think it's time to look into carbon fiber cellos. Ah, sweet! Carbon fiber cellos! Wait, but there's two of them. A Lewis and Clark on my right and a Mezzo-Forte on my left? How do I know which one to get? As the great Stevie Wonder once said, don't you worry about a thing. I'm going to play through both cellos and go through the pros and cons of each one. And hopefully together, we can decide which one is the right carbon fiber cello for you. Let's start with the Lewis and Clark model. I'm going to play some examples for you guys so you can listen for yourselves, and then we'll discuss. Really, I'll discuss and you guys will listen. Now let's do some chopping. Let's play something smooth and melodic now. My first initial thoughts of the Lewis and Clark carbon fiber cello is that this is more similar to a wooden instrument than the Mezzo-Forte cello. Now, compared with the Mezzo-Forte cello, this Lewis and Clark cello is more resonant and has more dynamic range. I have actual fortes and actual pianos. Now, I would say if you want to rock out, the Lewis and Clark cello is for you. Because of its dynamic range and the true fortes, it's definitely worth it to have this instrument. Now, it does have a coarse, harsh tone, which can make note clarity an issue when you're playing loudly or when you're chopping. Maybe you're not into chopping, but it's definitely a huge factor for me. Now, because the tone is harsh and a bit coarse, it is hard to hear the notes when I'm chopping. I would have to give a lower rating for note clarity when I'm chopping or rocking out on this instrument. I would say the pros are resonance, most like a wooden instrument, dynamic range, true forte sounds, great for rocking out. The cons: coarse, harsh tone, weak note clarity when I'm rocking out. And let's throw in the price as a con. The Lewis and Clark model, if you buy directly from them, is going to be a little over $7,000, which is not chump change. All right, now I have the Mezzo-Forte model. I'm going to play you some examples and go through the pros and cons with you. Okay, now that I'm tuned, let's get started. And something smooth and melodic. So right off the bat, the Mezzo-Forte Design Line Cello has a very smooth tone and great note clarity. And I would say those are huge pros. Now the con is that it has very low dynamic range, which can be very frustrating when you're practicing or when you're performing and you're pressing as much as you can and it just won't go past a certain level, no matter how hard you try. And trust me, I've tried. So I say you can get a good Mezzo-Forte out of this, but you really can't get a strong forte like the Lewis and Clark instrument. A beautiful smooth tone, a gorgeous piano. Let's try rocking out. Let's see. Now you can still rock out with this instrument. I would definitely put on a pickup or amplify it using a microphone or a clip-on mic and use some pedals to make it much louder, but acoustically it doesn't really rock out that much. Now the Lewis and Clark instrument rocks out pretty hard acoustically. And to make it even more simple for you, the main two factors are budget and will you be playing amplified or acoustically. The Lewis and Clark model is over $7,000 and I think it's great for playing acoustically and for rocking out. This Mezzo-Forte Cello is about $5,000 and definitely needs to be amplified if you're going to rock out. Now you've heard examples on both instruments so you can make up your own mind, but I'm going to give you my professional opinion. It is my professional opinion that I think it's best to have a primary wooden instrument. And then if you need a secondary instrument for touring and gigging, I think one of these bad boys would be perfect for you. Now, why do you need a wooden instrument? The technology of these carbon fiber instruments, both of them are fantastic and durable, but nothing beats the sound of a wooden cello. And so if you're on the fence of whether you should get a carbon fiber instrument or a wooden instrument, I say have a wooden one first and then get one of these. So let's talk about pricing. If you don't have a cello yet and you only have about $5,000, so it's between a Mezzo-Forte cello or a wooden instrument, you can get a wooden J-hide cello for about $5,000. That's what I use as my primary instrument and I'm absolutely happy with that one. If you have your primary instrument that you're happy with and you just need a gigging cello, and you're gonna be on tour a lot and you're gonna be amplified, but you're on a budget, I say go with the Mezzo-Forte Cello. It's a perfectly fine instrument, decent price, as long as you're amplified. If you're looking to rock out a little bit harder, especially acoustically, I say go with the Lewis and Clark model. It's a little bit more money, but I think it's worth it for that greater dynamic range that you'll need when you're playing acoustic. As you can see, both instruments are very similar looking, with only a couple of minor details that make them different. For example, the F-holes, whereas the Lewis and Clark model has the classic F-holes, and the Mezzo-Forte design line has these fancier F-holes, which I like. The Mezzo-Forte Cello also has a gold MF logo above the bridge, branding it. That way you know it's not a Lewis and Clark model. Now a few details that may not be a deal breaker for you, but definitely worth mentioning. The Mezzo-Forte design line does not have fine tuners and has a different kind of end pin. I have to say I'm not a fan of the fancy end pin. Because of the plastic material, it gets stuck in the humidity. And quite often when I'm playing outside, it's been very difficult to loosen after playing a gig. And I would much prefer the regular end pin. Whereas the Lewis and Clark model has your basic fine tuners and regular end pin that we're all used to. Both carbon fiber cellos are fine instruments, and I think you'll be happy with either choice. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope it was helpful and informative, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your feedback in the comments. I would love to hear your experience with these instruments or any questions you may have. And good luck on your journey to find the right carbon fiber cello. Thanks, guys.